guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been forever and I keep saying I'm gonna be back, but I'm finally back for good, hopefully. And I wanted to, and we are in a new setting. If you guys didn't realize, and if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, then we moved into our own place, which is why this past couple months have been so extremely stressful for us and whatnot. So I hope to be back now that we're settled in. We still have a lot to do around the house, but a lot of you guys on Instagram wanted to know so much about our moving process and a bunch of just different things. So I thought I would be very transparent about the entire thing and the entire process. And so I went on Instagram and I asked you guys what you guys wanted to hear from us about this move. And so many of you guys asked so many questions. So we're not going to be able to get through everything, but maybe we'll answer like 10 to 12 questions. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment box below and we can do like a part 2. And I know some of you guys want the same video but with my parents about how they felt about the move. So I'll have that. I'm hoping to have them over next week to film that as well. So let's get into it. And yeah, I think one of the main questions a lot of people asked were like, how did you guys save and how did you guys go about buying a place, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a huge saver. I've been working since I was really young, and my parents have always like kind of instilled the morals or whatever of like every dime, every penny that you guys earn, make sure you guys are saving it. And I know everyone has a different upbringing, but that's kind of how my parents did it. So ever since I started working at 16, I've been saving. So I knew that, you know, growing up, I would be kind of set when I did want to move out or things like that. What's your saving process tips or whatever?
I'm gonna be upfront. I haven't been the greatest saver. So I'm the opposite. I learned later on in life about like budgeting and like not spending unnecessarily in the morning for like say breakfast or coffee and stuff like that. You know, just the little things, they do add up. Especially when you start budgeting, you do finally see like where your money goes, like how much you actually spend on food every month, how much you're actually spending unnecessarily on clothes.
And then, so that's kind of like great saving tips in my opinion. Obviously it's dependent on, you know, if you guys want to buy a condo or a townhouse or a semi or a detached, because the prices can vary so much. And we've actually, and another big question that we got was, is it a detached home? No, it's not. We moved into a townhouse. This is a starter home for us. Obviously it would have been nice to like buy a big house, you know, and have the space and whatever, but honestly, I'm still so young. I'm 24, he's 29. This is definitely a starter house. I don't foresee ourselves like raising 2 kids or whatever in this place, but it's a perfect size for us. And I honestly think it's really good space. It's not as small as I would have thought it would be. It has 3 bedrooms. I have a makeup room, we have a guest room, and we have our master, which is amazing. And I think, yeah, like, we're really happy with the outcome of this house. Like, there is no complaints on our end. How are the house prices? How much did you need saved before moving out? So house pricing market in 2021, so the year that we're in right now, has been ridiculous. We actually purchased our house in 2019. 2020. We started looking kind of end of 2019, but we weren't like, we're like, eh. So we did start looking in 2019, but we didn't settle until 2020. I feel like the pricing was a bit better, definitely a lot better actually compared to now.
Way better.
If it was this year, we wouldn't have moved, in my opinion. It would have been impossible for us to buy a place, or we would have had to buy like a shoebox, like literally the size of a shoebox.
Or even rent.
Rent, because something. I don't know. Yeah, because it's just ridiculous the pricing right now, and I think for our income, we want to still have a fun life. We don't want to live paycheck to paycheck and spend it all on our mortgage and utilities and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think when we were buying the house, it was a good time in my opinion, because right now it's kind of a lot harder. A lot of people were asking how we bought the house, and I just want to be honest because I feel like a lot of people are confused because I'm really, really young, and I think it's a shocker that we were able to buy a house. Fortunately for me, my parents kind of helped us out with the down payment. Obviously we did do our part as well, but my parents definitely had a hand in purchasing this place for us. And without them, I don't think we would have been able to necessarily. It would have been a lot harder. We would have had to wait a year or 2, in my opinion, more. But yeah, my parents definitely helped us purchase this place, and like not everyone is as privileged in that sense, so I'm really grateful, and I do realize that is a huge blessing. So I owe it to my parents in that sense, but I just wanted to be transparent about that because I feel like so many people message me being like, you're so young, how did you purchase this house? Like, how long have you guys been saving for? But we did have the help of my parents, so I am forever grateful for that because in this market it is kind of tough getting it on your own.
No, we would be lying if we said we did it entirely.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I want to be very transparent about that, right? Because I don't want people, my young viewers or people my age being like, oh my god, how is she doing it and I'm not? Like, don't compare yourself. Everyone's in different positions in their life, and like for me, my parents helped out, so it was easier for us. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. This was the #1 requested question, okay? Did you have to convince your parents to move out with Mayu before marriage? So yeah, guys, we're not married, we are engaged, and we've been engaged since 2019. My parents, I know this is gonna be a shock for you guys, gonna be like, what? My parents wanted me out since like 2019. My parents were like, what are you doing still living here? My parents did not want me living with them anymore. And I actually live with my sister and my parents, so it's my sister's house that we actually live in. So it was a lot. It was like 6 adults, or 5 adults, and then a kid, and now she's pregnant, so another kid on the way. So it was a lot, and my mom and dad are very, very liberal people, and I'm sure you guys know that. But for them, they were like, you guys have been dating, like move out. And my parents don't really care about the marriage part of it. Like my mom doesn't even want me to have a wedding. Shocker. So yeah, like it was very easy. My parents were kind of the ones that were pushing us. They were the ones like, let's go look for houses. Let's try and move out. And like, I remember I was like, oh, if the house is ready before we do end up getting married, we can just rent it out, or we can just like not move in. And my mom was like, what nonsense? She's like, no, like you guys are moving out. You guys are not renting that place. You guys are moving out the moment you guys get the keys to the house. So yeah, like it was very easy. It was a very easy process. Like I didn't have to break it down for my parents or anything. They were the ones taking my hand and saying, go find a place. Let's go. They were on my kundi. Literally, they were on my kundi to go find a place. So yeah. Whereas for you,
well, I mean, it took a little bit convincing. It wasn't like immediate yes, like her parents and all. I was just like, shouldn't you be married? Shouldn't you be like what? But at the same time, my age is like, I'm not mid-20s either. I'm not early 20s either. I'm like late 20s. So I think that kind of had a factor as well. It's like, what's a 28, 29-year-old kid still living with his parents kind of thing.
Which is very normal in normal households.
It's very normal, definitely. But I think, it's just like, I also have like brothers and all that at home, and it's like, it gets crowded, it's like, okay, fine, you know what, you guys are gonna get married soon anyway, it's fine, go out and,
tips for first-time home buyers.
In what sense? Like, we've covered finance.
I think, honestly, enjoy the process. Don't be so stressed about it. Although it can be extremely stressful, it really is. I was so lucky in the sense that he kind of took over everything, all the documentation, the mortgage, the lawyers, everything that's involved. He kind of dealt with everything. I just had to sign papers and show pretty, like sit pretty. It was honestly such a blessing, and I feel like it's so important to have a good mortgage person because
definitely.
And shout out to Uma if you guys are looking.
That's right. Works for TD, Uma.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's honestly the best. I worked with him before in TD, so that's how, and we obviously play sports with him. But honestly, he made our life so much easier because you go back and forth with getting approvals for mortgages, right? Because you get the pre-approval, then once you actually put the down or put deposits down on the house, then you have to go again and get the actual approval, and then you have to like make sure you get the approval right before you
There's just a lot of steps,
and then your mortgage person is the one that kind of deals with your lawyers and stuff and sends the documentation over. And I felt like my parents wanted to hire like one of their people for mortgage, and I was like, hell no, because I know that when you hire someone that's kind of older, there's a communication barrier in my opinion, and then you can't like, I feel like things are slower. Uma was so amazing. Like we would literally text him and be like, yo, they're asking this of us, what do we do?
This and this, 1, 2, 3, so
right.
I got you. Don't worry.
And like he was so good, and I feel like that's so important. As a first-time home buyer, don't be like, I need to buy this luxury house or this big detached 3 garage or whatever it is house. If you can afford it, that's great. Totally go for it. But if you can't, start out small. Like what's the rush? Like when our parents came to Canada, they lived in little apartments with like 3 families, and they still made it, and they still, look what they were able to do for us, right? So like don't stress over that, and like don't live for other people, in my opinion. Like don't buy a house just because you want to like show people that you're doing well or anything like that. Like it doesn't matter, as long as you're happy and it's a home that you can make a home, that's all that matters. Yeah.
That's
And our
nice.
lawyers were also amazing.
Nice.
It's actually one of my sister's family friends. We've worked with them for my sister's home, my parents' home, all of that. So they were amazing. And I don't know their law firm name, but I will.
Essentia. It's Essentia
Okay.
Law Firm.
Yeah.
Essentia LLP.
And I'll put all of their tags above if you guys are like looking for good people, because like I feel like it's so important being able to communicate with like, and I find it's easier to communicate with like young Tamil professionals because it's just like I feel like because we're young and they're young and like they have experience. It's not like they're like
It's the relatability.
It's just a
Definitely,
relatability
yeah,
for sure, right? Any regrets with buying a pre-construction home? No. So originally, actually, in 2020, I kind of wanted to buy an older home, and the reason being is because the lot sizes are bigger, right? And the land is bigger, so like you have more grass and all of that. But then after we started looking, we were just going for fun and looking whenever there was a house on sale. It was ridiculous trying to outbid people. Like,
Bidding wars
dude, like
was
it would be
awful.
like, okay, 500K, that's not bad. And then it would sell for like 709, 710. And we're like, how did it jump like 100 and something K? Like that makes no sense. And then we quickly realized also like if we were to move into an older home, we realized we would want to do renovations right off the bat because it's kind of older, which is fine because we would have been spending less in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it was just a bidding war process I didn't want to get into. And honestly, the pre-con way was so much easier because it gave us time to save a bit more, right?
That's the biggest
Yeah,
thing.
that was the biggest thing for
That was
us
the biggest
because
thing.
my parents wanted us out in 2020. And I was kind of like, that's when I was like fighting with my parents. We were kind of, I was getting annoyed because I was like, I don't want to start paying for a mortgage in 2020 when I could save a bit more, right? I would be able to save a lot more. If you give me a whole year, we're going to be able to save so much more, right? And so that was our issue with buying an older home because I don't think we were ready to take that step. Whereas with pre-con, we had to wait a full year and then we were able to purchase our home. So
Yeah.
it made a big difference for us.
Yeah, if you're buying a house that's already done, like if it's an older house, you have to keep in mind you're gonna have to move in within a month, maybe 2 months, whatever it is, right? So that means you have to have your finances in
Check, yeah.
check. You have to have everything in line, like you're gonna move in soon. Whereas pre-con, you do get that buffer, like that grace period, like maybe a year or
Yeah.
whatever it is, before you move in, and obviously you get to save up, and you get a hand in how your house is built, like what the design is, what the floors are going to look like, what the cabinetry and everything's going to look like.
A lot of you guys have been asking for a home tour. I will not be giving a home tour anytime soon because we are literally living, like even our couch, I hate our couch, but we just have it because my parents had this couch. Like there is no need for us to be spending thousands of dollars right now, especially after purchasing this home. I want to wait and slowly do things. You know, I'm not this bougie person. I want to do things on my own terms. When or why did you decide to move out of your house? Honestly, when is probably when you propose. Like for me, I don't need to have it. Like for me, I didn't care to get married to move out. That's not. And I think it's so important to live with your significant other before getting into a marriage. And this is so important because nowadays I'm seeing more and more divorces happening within couples. And I think the biggest thing is it's a Tamil community issue because we are so against moving in prior to marriage because it looks bad and people will talk and all of this crap. But I don't think Tamil parents understand how good that could be on the couple because if you just let your kids live with their significant other, they can figure out if it's gonna work or not work, right? Because
you learn so much.
You learn so much. And then end of the day, as a Tamil parent, it's better if your kid leaves before the wedding happens because then it's like, oh, you owe a divorce certificate, right? So I think it's a growing process as well too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we did it before we got married because you never know. Sometimes it doesn't work out, right? And that's just life. It's not sad. It's just how life works. So
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
Definitely, relationships have changed since our parents' age, and you definitely do learn like what makes each other tick and stuff like that. You're only going to learn that when you do move in with each other, right? So I thought it was a good idea to do that.
Literally, guys, every single question is, how did your parents react for both of you moving out without getting married? Did you need approval from your parents?
Every parent is different, obviously. So just because our parents were kind of cool with it doesn't mean that every other parent's going to be cool with it. It doesn't mean that you guys should be forcing it either.
Yeah.
But your job and your role, it should be to opening their eyes
Educate
to
them,
the
right?
benefits and to educate them exactly. Tell them how the landscape has changed in terms of relationship. Tell them how everything has is much more different now. Like everything is a lot more open, right? You know, these are the things that you have to have that conversation with your parents. If you're not comfortable, then it's gonna be tough, right? So
okay, how did you feel when you realized you were not going to stay with your parents' house and room since childhood? So that actually didn't bother me at all because I haven't been living in that house for more than 4 years. It's actually my sister's house. So the house before that is the one that I kind of grew up in. I had 2 houses prior to that that I think I was more emotionally connected to. So the house itself I was not connected to. But I think for me, yeah, like I wasn't emotionally connected to the house. Like it didn't bother me that I was leaving, but leaving that room did kind of hurt me. Only because I started my makeup career and my YouTube career in that house and in that room. So I feel like that room was such a big part of like me, and like even talking about it gets me emotional because I feel like it's like who I was.
You mean where you started?
Yeah, like where I started, right? Like when I look back.
Definitely.
It's like the room, every corner I have filmed in, right? And like I've had so many memories with my parents filming in that room, him filming in that room, and like holding my nephew for the first time in that room. Like that's what I was more like connected to, I guess. But other than that, like I wasn't very emotional. I was really emotional when the day before I left. So actually there was no bed in my room the day before I left because we had moved everything out. And my mom told me to go sleep in the guest bedroom and I said no. And I actually asked my mom to help me make like a little bed for on the ground, and I slept on the ground. I cried because I was like, this is my last time in this room. And I obviously cried because I was gonna miss my parents as well, but surprisingly they didn't even flinch. They were like, bye. We're so close as well, guys. Like I see them all the time, so it's not like I move far and they don't see me anymore. And my mom calls me every day, and if I don't call her, she's calling me. So it's kind of like I don't like, it doesn't even really affect me. But I did cry when my parents left because I felt like my parents were here the entire time of us moving, like cleaning the house and all of that. So I remember like the day that they left and I knew that, okay, they're not gonna really come back until next week. I was kind of like, but I was okay. How did you feel when you were moving out?
Yeah, you know what? I had a stronger attachment. Just like growing up with a bigger
his
family.
Mom.
No, it's my entire family. Yeah, it definitely was hard moving away, you know, just thinking like, oh, you know, you look back at your childhood like memories and like you grew up, and it's just like the first faces you see in the morning and when you go to sleep and stuff like that. Just the little things you're gonna miss, you're gonna, you know. But yeah, it definitely was tough. Definitely was tough moving away.
It's okay, babe. It's okay. So did you struggle with mortgage approval? We didn't. I don't think we did. Like I said, it's important finding someone that you're transparent with, a mortgage person that's going to be transparent and like help you through it all. So it was quite easy for us. And like I said, we bought a house within our means, which is
that definitely helps.
That's
and
the number one
also
thing.
Keep your credit score higher.
Yeah.
Definitely watch your credit score. So pay off your debts. Don't incur anything or don't keep anything around. Don't incur any late payments or anything like that. Definitely keep your credit score up.
How is it like to live with your fiance? Did it strengthen your relationship or did you regret it? I 100% think it's strengthened our
Yeah, we
relationship.
kind of touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
Did you have an age goal in terms of when you wanted to buy a house? No.
No, not really. I told you that things like that don't really cross the mind.
How many years prior would you need to save? Okay, so this is obviously different for each person, right? Like,
yeah, it's also dependent on the market. So
yeah, like
now
yeah,
I would say,
yeah.
oh god, yeah.
It's like I said, if you are planning on buying a house, you need to be able to save
a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you need to be good with your money, or you need to like it's just, or you have to work hard. Like you gotta grind. So, guys, that's a wrap. I feel like we answered way more than 10 questions.
Yeah.
But I hope this helped. Like I don't know if this is what you guys wanted to see, but I feel like so many people were asking me questions, so I thought I'd just hop on here and give you guys that. And if you guys have any other further questions or anything else like that you guys want to know, honestly, just leave it down below and we can answer it either
Definitely.
just by commenting, or we'll do like a part 2. And I will have my parents come in for next week's and let them know why they feel the way that they do, and like how they were so nonchalant and chill about this entire process, and how they truly feel about me moving on, if they really miss me. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you like this video, please
like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any other future ideas for videos, we're always looking, so drop it below in the comments and we'll check it out.
Yeah. Bye guys, love you guys.
Peace.